What's up guys, and welcome to a very unusual review for my channel. This is a 2019 BMW X5 xDrive40i. This car is owned by my friend Bryce, and we're gonna take this thing for a drive on my favorite canyon road and see if it's any fun. Now, being a 2019, this is the pre-facelift version of the current gen X5. This one being the xDrive40i, means it has the B58 engine, 3-liter inline 6, turbocharged, makes around 330 to 340 horsepower, which is a healthy amount of power, and this engine feels amazing in cars like the Supra. But keep in mind, this is an over 5,000 pound SUV. Now, Bryce mentioned that this one is pretty well optioned. He has the executive package, which gives us things like this glass shifter. He has these really nice upgraded individual seats with quilted leather, heated and cooled. We also have heated and cooled cup holders, a must-have for a high-end SUV. And more importantly, for driving dynamics, this has air suspension and rear axle steering. Now, being an xDrive, this one is all-wheel drive, and on the market right now for a 2019, you're looking at somewhere in the $40,000, maybe $45,000 price range. That's roughly half of the original MSRP. These cars have depreciated a lot in the past few years, so might this just be actually a really well-rounded, luxurious, capable, and fun to drive SUV out here in the canyons. So we have the damping in Sport. This does have adaptive dampers, steering in Sport, engine and transmission in Sport Plus. Of course, this has the ZF 8-speed torque converter automatic. And because we have air suspension, we can use this switch to adjust between 5 different height settings, and we're currently at the second lowest. Over into Sport, and then we'll use the paddles to put it into manual mode. And we're following Kevin from the Jabal and Cars YouTube channel in a brand new EcoBoost Mustang. Let's see if we have any shots of keeping up. Air suspension, over 5,000 pounds. This thing rides beautifully, and there's so much insulation between you and the road. Very little road noise. Second gear. B58 with a ZF 8-speed. It's a great powertrain and transmission combo, even in an over 5,000 pound SUV. Oh, you feel the heft of it in these corners. Even with rear axle steering, this thing is quite a boat. But I will say, it takes these corners better than it should for this size and weight of a vehicle. Now, one thing to note is because this thing is so well insulated, you don't actually get a lot of engine sound from inside the cabin, which makes it a little hard to gauge where you are in the rev range. You kind of do have to keep an eye on the tack there. This transmission is so smooth and quick, you don't feel the shifts pretty much at all. And these adaptive dampers in Sport mode actually feel really nice and firm. Straight line performance, more than adequate. Yeah, I can't hear the downshifts at all. We are going way quicker than we should be able to on this road. Even in these hairpins, the car surprisingly doesn't understeer that much, and we're just on some all-season tires on 20-inch wheels. The steering is pretty heavy in Sport mode. Not a ton of feedback, actually very little feedback, but it does have good weighting and it's precise. I mean, look at this. No understeer. Oh, there's some understeer on exit. Wow, this suspension is so good. It has a great breadth of capability. It's super soft and comfortable around town and on the highway. But in the canyons, it handles the bumps really well while still keeping the car relatively flat. Look at that. the thing actually wanted to oversteer a little bit, but we do have traction control fully on here. That is hilarious. Now, I did review an X6M on this same road several months back, and that car, or SUV I should say, was shockingly capable in the canyons. So fast, so well composed, despite being a 5,400 pound, I think it was, vehicle. It handled phenomenally well. This X5 with a 6-cylinder, not on the same level as an X6M, but it also rides just so much better. The X6M with the 22-inch wheels I think it had, and the extra stiff suspension did feel compromised on the road, whereas this feels perfectly dialed in for everyday driving. Ultimately, that's what this is. Despite the ultimate driving machine slogan, a vehicle like this is not meant to be driven in the canyons. I'm just doing it because I can, and I was curious. But one word to sum up this car, not only the way it performs as an everyday SUV, but also when you're pushing it, is the word refined. It insulates you quite a bit from the road, and yet it still gives you the confidence to drive quickly, to attack these corners. It's not an easy thing to pull off, but BMW definitely has done a great job here. I would love to review a Porsche Cayenne to see how that compares, because those are so much more expensive than the X5. But this might just be the most impressive SUV I've ever driven in terms of being a well-rounded vehicle. There's the owner, Bryce, and his daughter. What an absolute legend. This is a dadmobile for the discerning driving enthusiast. You gotta love that. So let me know what you think about the pre-facelift X5 xDrive40i, or just any model or trim of this generation. For $40,000 or so, might this just be one of the best all-around daily drivers that you can still have a little bit of fun with? I honestly think it might be. So big shout out to Bryce. Let me know what you think about the X5, and I'll see you in the next one.